we are going to be starting a very exciting new unit called Counting Back Change. When I was a little girl, one of my favorite things to do was to sit at the table, and my mom she carried the mail, so she would have lots of change and some dollars and stuff too, because that's back when a lot of people purchased stamps on the mail route. So I would get her money box out and just count, and I thought it was so much fun. I would pretend I was a bank teller. So you can kind of pretend you're a bank teller today, or that you work for maybe Walmart or CVS, and you're the clerk giving back change, okay? Counting back change. Change is the amount spent subtracted from the amount given. Change is usually made with the lowest number of coins and bills possible. Instead of 2 nickels, 1 dime is given. When counting back change, give the smallest denominations first. Give 2 pennies before 1 quarter. To count back change, start with the amount of money the customer spent. Then count back the coins before counting back the bills. Stop counting back when the amount of money the customer gave is reached. So we have an example here, and I have the real money, okay? So here, you guys can follow along in your book. The customer gave $5. The customer spent $3.71. So pretending to be the clerk, this is how we are going to give change. We're going to say $3.72, $3.73, $3.74, $3.75, and a quarter makes $4, and a 1 makes $5, okay? Are you following that right there? Okay. The 4 pennies makes $3.75, the 1 quarter makes $4, and the 1 bill makes $5. We have reached the amount that the customer gave. See, the customer gave 5, so we have it exactly right. So the customer's change should be the same amount of the money the clerk gave. Is this $1.29? Yes. $1, $25, $26, $27, $28, $29. So there you go. Okay, let's go on down and try one. Number 1. Circle the letter if change is counted back the best way. So for me to give examples, I think I'm not so sure if I'm just going to stick with the correct ones or not. Sometimes it can get confusing to do the incorrect ones, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, the customer gave $3, okay? 1, 2, 3. All right, now, the customer spent $2.05. So they spent $2.05, okay? So you've got $2.05, you see that? Okay, that's how much they spent. How much did they have again? $3. So we have to get from $2.05 to $3. So our best way, remember, we're supposed to use the increments that make the most sense. They said when counting back change, give the smallest denominations first. You'll give pennies first, then quarters, okay? So change is made with the fewest number of coins and bills possible. Instead of 2 nickels, you will use 1 dime. So in this particular scenario, okay, we need 2 dimes, because $2.05, the best way to get $2.05 to $2.25 is 2 dimes, okay? Then the best way to get $2.25 to $3 is going to be 3 quarters. So your change will look like this, okay? So you've got $2.05. Remember, they gave you $3. They spent $2.05. So if you're the clerk, you're going to say $2.05, $2.15, $2.25, $2.50, $2.75, $3. And then you'll say, thank you very much. That's kind of how that works, okay? Now, let's go down to B, okay? We'll try to do one that is incorrect, okay? So let's do it correct, and then we'll go back and kind of look at that. How about that? So we have $5, okay? And it says the customer spent 99 cents. So that's going to be 3 quarters, 2 dimes, and 4 pennies. Okay, that's how much they spent. Okay, all right, so how much did they have left? Okay, so it says they spent 99 cents, and we are going to do this correctly instead of incorrectly because incorrectly confuses me. Okay, so you have $5, they spent 99 cents. So the best way to give that back is you're at 99 cents, you need to get it to the next dollar. That makes $1, $2, $3, $4, and $5. $4.01 is the correct change. $4.01. So here it said, you see how it did it that way. And actually it says, circle the letter if change is counted back the best way. The reason number 2 is not circled, okay, the amount that they gave back is $4.01. That is actually correct. But they gave the big dollars first. Do you see that right here? They gave the big money first and then the small. When you go up here, it says that when counting back, give the smallest denominations first. So that number 2 disobeyed number 3 at the top. That one, okay? All right, I think you guys probably have a good idea of how this works. I would like for you to take some money out of a drawer if your mom and dad have some and try to make some change and practice on the last 2. But I think it's a lot of fun, and I actually would like to spend all the time doing that with you, but I know that you're limited on time, and I would like to review for tomorrow's quiz with you. If anybody has any questions about counting back change, please call me, text me, email me, FaceTime me. Please know that I'm available, and I don't want you guys to slip behind thinking that you can't contact me. Please contact me anytime. Okay, let's take a look at the other page. I felt like the scale drawings were pretty straightforward. The kids that I did talk to this week seemed to be doing well with them. Then you have the multiplying the fractions. And I just want to remind you to cancel first. And I wanted to remind you when you have a whole number, make sure you put your 1 beneath it, okay? And I want to remind you that when you have a mixed fraction, to multiply your 1 times the 2, which gives you 2, then add the 1, which is 3, and you use this denominator, so it's 3 over 2, okay? Just in case some of you forgot that. Always remember, once you get to this phase here, to go ahead and cancel, okay? Instead of waiting to the very end and reducing a really large number, go ahead and cancel. Several of you are still struggling with the 2-digit divisor. Remember, if this is a 7, you will pretend this is a 5 when you're estimating. If this number is a 5 or above, you make this number go up 1, okay? What I found when I was helping Lucy the other day was that sometimes it's best when you've got a high number on this side to go ahead and kind of say, okay, what is 4 divided into, 46? And then what's 5 divided into 46? And then you kind of take what's in between and play around with that number, okay? Just remember when you're dividing, I know it gets confusing because when you start working with this number, you kind of get confused as to which number you're actually dividing into. Remember, 47 will not go into 4. It will not divide into 46. It has to go into 463. So it'd be good to draw your line all the way across to the 3 so you know to write your 9 above the 3 and not above the 6 or above the 4. Please remember to check. Several of you got all of these right. I know Presley, you were one of those that got every single one of these right, and you just forgot to check. So that was a -2, a -2, and a -2 on the test. So I just wanted to remind you guys of that because most of the time on the test it does say check. Let's take a look at the story problem. Trevor ran the 50-meter dash in 9.3 seconds. Clayton ran it in 8.9 seconds. And Victor ran it in 9.4 seconds. How many seconds did it take the three boys to run in all? Okay? In all, you're just going to put 9.3 and make sure when you put 8.9 beneath it that you've lined up the decimals. When you put the 9.4 beneath it, that you line up your decimals. That you put your addition sign, draw your line, and you just add those up, keeping those decimals in order and making sure to put the decimal in the correct place, just straight down in your answer. Remember to write seconds in all at the end. I'm going to let you do B all by yourself, and I wanted to remind you that you do not highlight anything on 245, and on 246 you're going to highlight 3, 4, 5. On number 5, please highlight in all. And we do have a quiz tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to slide my book out of the way and talk about the quiz a little bit. Okay, what will be on quiz 14? This attachment will be on today's lesson, Monday. Please see highlighted items that I have been giving you each day. If you didn't highlight those, you can go back. Well, I don't guess you can go back really because the lessons will already be gone. So you won't be able to go back and do that. Just try from here on out to highlight them. If you didn't highlight them this time, no worries. I have given you everything you need to know on this piece of paper. Highlighted items are on page 242 to 246 if you did highlight and you want to look back. Number 1 on the quiz will be follow the signs. Addition, be ready to carry. Subtraction, be ready to borrow. Guys, you're in the 4th grade. You're almost a 5th grader. It's time to really, really concentrate. I know all of you can add correctly when carrying, and I know all of you, if you really think about it and stay focused, that you can subtract and borrow accurately. So please show me on the next several quizzes and tests that you are ready for the 5th grade. I know you are. Addition with a decimal. Be sure to line up your decimals. Subtraction with a decimal. Be sure to line up your decimals. Multiplying fractions. 1/5 times 5/7. Remember to cancel the 5's first. And your equation will be 1/1 times 1/7 equals 1/7 because you've canceled out those 5's, okay? You may need to work that problem out to the side, but I've given you everything you need to know. When you subtract fractions, I wanted to remind you of something. When you have a 2 minus 2/3, some of you on the test forgot to borrow from the whole number, and then you forgot once you borrowed from the whole number what your fraction should be. So let's review this just a minute. 2 minus 2/3. You don't have anything over on the fraction side to subtract the 2/3 from. So you're going to borrow 1 from the 2 and make it a 1. So the 2 becomes a 1. And then remember, class, how do you know when you borrow 1 from the whole number what your fraction should be? You take the denominator that's already listed, which is a 3, and you pretend that you still have all 3 pieces of your pie. So 3/3 is the number that you will have. 1 and 3/3 minus 2/3 is 1 and 1/3. If anybody doesn't remember that and needs to review that with me, please don't hesitate to let me know, okay? Number 2, write the fractions as decimals. 2/10 is 0.2. 4/100 is 0.04. 555 1,000ths is 0.555, okay? Remember, class, if you're on the decimal side, there's a whole number, then there's a decimal. If you're on the decimal side, they sound like this. Tenths, THS, 100ths, THS, 1,000ths, THS, okay? To the right of the decimal, they have THS on the end. Okay, how do you know if, how do you know that point two, if it was the reverse, how would you know that point two would be listed as 2/10? It's because when you have one number, your denominator will have 1 0. For the second one, you have two numbers, right? 0.04. This one is tricky. You have 0.04 and you write that over 100. So you've got two numbers on top, two zeros on the bottom. But guess what? You drop the 04. Okay? I mean, you drop the 0 and the 04. So do you see where you've got 0.04? Okay, right here you just take the 2 and you know you're going to put it over a 10 because you have to put it over a 1 and however many zeros of the numbers on top. So that's pretty easy. Well, here you're going to say, okay, I've got two numbers on top. I've got a 0, 4, so I'm going to put 100 beneath because I have to have two zeros because I have two numbers, okay? But the tricky thing is you drop this 0 when you put it over here on top. You don't need it, okay? No big deal. You can write a 0, 4 if you want for a little bit until you realize you need to drop the 0. I would still count that correct, okay? And then you have 555. So you say, okay, what would I write that above? You would put it over 1,000 because you have 1, 2, 3 numbers, 1, 2, 3 zeros. I hope that makes sense for you guys. If not, again, I'm available. Circle proper fractions. Sometimes, guys, you do the direct opposite. Sometimes you circle all the improper fractions. So make sure you do as it asks you to do on the directions, please. Remember, 1/9 is proper and 9 seconds is improper. Okay? If the number is bigger on top, it's improper. If the number is smaller on top, it's proper. Just remember, please remember that when you have an improper fraction in your answer, like whenever you're doing, like maybe you're multiplying fractions, okay? You must divide the denominator into the numerator to get an improper fraction, okay? Actually, I think I wrote the wrong thing right there. Please remember that when you have an improper fraction in your answer, that you must divide the denominator into the numerator to get, that should say, a mixed number. That's what that should say. So I will fix that. So basically, you understand what I'm saying. Let me do something real quick to make sure it makes sense. Okay, so if you have a 9/5, you don't leave it like that. You say 5 will divide into 9 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. 9 minus 5 is 4. And you would have 4, what class? Fifths. 1 and 4 fifths. Okay? So I'm sorry about that. I will fix this before you get a copy of it. Okay? Multiply each number by 9. Okay? So please, 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 please know your 9s. If you don't know a couple of your 9s, count them up. Okay? For example, you may have 6 and you have to say 6 times 9. Well, let's say you know that 9 times 5 is 45. Then just add 6 to that, right? If 9 times 5 is 45, if you know that 9 times 5 is 45, okay, we're doing 9s, then you know that 6 times 9 is going to be 9 more than that. So 45, the next multiple, when you count up, it's 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54. So always go to something you do know and then count up. Or say all the multiples if you need to. Write them out to the side if you need to. There's always skills for getting the right answer. I hope you guys will look back over this and I hope you do amazing on the quiz. I'm available. Let me know if you need me. Bye-bye.